every once in a while, a fresh perspective from Chris Kelso while Kevin Price is out making the world a better place. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Price of Business. My first guest up is Marcello Pedalino. Marcello, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, Chris. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much. For all those listeners who are tuning in for the first time, let us know a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we're going to get into your new book.
Sure. Well, I've owned an event production company for 25 years. We do lighting design, production, hospitality, and logistics coordination for live events. Wrote the book in the last 2 years, and it seems to be going well. And that's how I got the invitation to talk to you great folks today.
That is great. Now, the book is called Celebrate Life, How to Live It Up, Discover Fulfillment, and Experience the Joy You Deserve in Your Company. That's interesting stuff because, I tell everybody it's important to live it up. I'm probably one of those individuals that says the same thing is, you have two choices in life. You can either live or die, and I choose to live.
Yeah, and I was checking out some of the tweets that you guys had and the ones that Kevin posts, all very positive stuff, and it's very similar to the feel and the vibe of the book. It's all about, living a better life, being healthier, being happier, surrounding yourself with the right people, and a lot of positive energy. So I think it's a great fit. I'm just really happy to be speaking with you guys today.
Now, what caused you to want to write this book? I mean, what was the genesis of, I need to sit down and put this to paper and really get my message out there?
A lot of good people have gone above and beyond over the years to show me the way. They were very kind and generous, so I thought this was a great way for me to pay it forward. And then, the book is actually dedicated to my daughter, Isabella. She's 7 years old, and I wanted to guarantee that if I died too soon, which we all know can happen, that all the life lessons that I ever wanted to teach her, she would be able to learn. And that was really important to me. So I started the book, and I feel so much more at peace knowing that those words are on paper now, and she'll have that forever.
It's very interesting. I have two children as well. I got a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old, or a 6-year-old, actually, about to be 7. And I think about the same thing. This life is too short. Hopefully it'll give me plenty of years to live out and see them, grow up and get old and you get married and grandchildren, etc. But if not, that's always been a fear of mine is what can I do to leave them some type of legacy behind of all the things that I want them to know, not only about what I love about them and how much I adore them, but also life lessons of what they can learn going forward, I guess. And, you mentioned that's one of the legacies you want to leave to your daughter. And so it's important to be able to put that message out there all the time and teach our youth, especially our children, about what that means and how positive it can be.
Sure. At the same time, though, Chris, I would say that the VIPs are really important because they don't just empower you and make you want to be a better person, but they also keep it real in that I don't believe in just yes people and people that are encouraging to a fault. I want people that are going to keep it real and tell me, look, you just don't have what it takes right now. You need to train harder. You need to get better at this. We're not going to just give you a trophy for participation. I'm very adamant against that. So
right.
I think the VIPs also are very important to keep it real, but to encourage you and to help you get to wwhere you need to be. But they're not yes people. They don't tell you everything that you necessarily want to hear. They tell you what you need to hear. So I think that's that's a key point.
It's important. It's funny you said that because the other day we're playing soccer. It's me and I'm a big soccer fan. I'm playing soccer with some other fathers, and we've got all of our sons out there, and all the sons are ranging between the ages of 10 and 6. And so they said, we want to take on the old farts. And so we said, absolutely, let's go ahead and do it. And then we proceeded just to score nonstop on them, right? And they were talking all this smack to us. It was pretty funny to see these kids do it. We're going to beat you, and you guys are too old and too slow. And next thing you know, it's 10-0. And they're like, oh, my gosh, you guys won't stop scoring on us. And we're as on a positive reinforcement side of things, we sit there and say, I'm not in for all this. Everybody gets a trophy. Guess what? In life, you have to show people the realities of what does exist. And it doesn't mean you have to do it in a negative way. We showed the children, at that point using soccer analogy right there is, hey, guess what? It doesn't matter that we're old. We can still do things. It doesn't matter that you're young. You can still lose. It's not a matter of that. Now let's go ahead and switch teams, and then we mixed them up and said, now let's learn from your elders. Let's learn some tricks that you might have thought that you didn't know. And then we use it as a learning process, as an educational tool. So I think it's very important, as you mentioned, to keep it real, because if you don't keep it real, you're going to set a false expectation as well, which is everything's easy or everything can be done. And then, unfortunately, one of the things that ends up happening is it's not that it can't be done. It just might not be able to be done right then and there. It doesn't teach people how to reenact and get back and, let's say, strive for something higher.
Absolutely. Chris, I can tell you that me and your kids, we would be playing soccer together. I would go out of my way to hang out with you guys. If that's the way you guys raise your kids out there, you'd be one of my best friends out. I'm Jersey. If I go out to Texas, that's the kind of group that I want to be hanging around with. Families that have fun, but they're teaching the kids lessons at the same time. That's awesome. Good for you, man.
Absolutely. Well, it's important to have those those life-teaching moments because, unfortunately, we see this in today's youth, is too many children are not educated as to what can go on and what they are capable of, but also the way to show them how to, I guess, unleash those capabilities.
Sure, absolutely.
So, we're going to be coming up against time on this segment. Time flies, you're having fun. And let me tell you, when you do come down to Texas, definitely look me up. We'll hang out, have a good time. We'll have your children over. But how can we reach you and how can we buy your book?
Sure. The easiest way is to go to CelebrateLifeBook.com. It's part of my blog. It's got all of my event production portfolio on it as well with our phone numbers and contact information right there.
CelebrateLifeBook.com. Again, the name of that is Celebrate Life. It's how to live it up, discover your fulfillment, and experience the joy you deserve. That is awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on The Price of Business this morning.
Chris, thank you so much. Have a great day, sir.
Likewise, you too. Again, that was Marcello Pedalino. Great stuff, talking about how to educate children and move on forward from there. Anyways, we're going to take a break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.